Hello?
Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
going good.
Nice. Okay, so maybe you could do a quick introduction on the stream before we get started. Just your tag, uh, where you're from, how long you've been playing.
All right. My tag's Pilot. I've been playing for like 4 years. I'm from Oregon, but Eastern Oregon, so pretty much play with Idaho people, and I play Fox. That's about it.
Cool. Okay, so what is the direction of this lesson? What's going on?
Well, definitely um, I just kind of want to see how I should think when I get a hit,
Mm-hmm.
because I just want that to be before I go heavy on neutral or whatever. I just want to make sure I understand how, I don't know, a top 10 player should think when they get a hit,
Okay.
and that's a big thing. And then also just I watched some of your videos before, and you talked about stuff like information gathering versus just whiff punishing and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah, and then also just advice for getting better at punish, just like how I would analyze my punishes.
Okay. Alright, that makes sense. Okay, so you said starts at 2 hours 22 minutes, 40 seconds. Okay. Okay, so are you looking for punish stuff just versus Marth, or just in general?
Kind of just in general, like a general applicable thing, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, like a structure or framework.
Okay. Okay, let me just watch this for a bit, and then we'll see what's going
Yeah.
on. Hmm. I like your movement and stuff so far. That's good. I like everything so far. Hmm. Yeah, happens. Hmm.
So yeah, I do not have the answer for him just going to ledge when I'm
Okay,
edge guarding him.
like in what situation? Like here, like that.
Yeah, I'd usually Marth killer right there, and then he would go to ledge. That happens a lot during this set, and I didn't know what to do.
Okay, have you seen IBDW's flowchart video for edge guarding Marth?
I have not, no.
Yeah, I assume you haven't, because otherwise you would know what to do there. Let me find it. Okay, so
Yeah, I definitely feel like this set would have been a lot less tense if I just knew how to edge guard that.
mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I linked you to the YouTube video where he goes over it. For anybody in chat who wants it, it's this. Um, Basically, I took this edgeguard flowchart or something very similar to it a little while ago, and it just helped out a lot. I
Okay.
think it's definitely like the by far the most consistent way to edgeguard Marth, at least in the current meta, and generally you can just most Marths will just like die out of it like every time, and even somebody like Zane will get like 50-50 by it and usually die.
Mm. Okay.
But basically, when you light shield and they do the double jump to edge, you short hop off and shine.
Oh, okay. See,
That's like
I do that. I do that when they side B, but not when they.
yeah, you can just do it out of their double jump actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be the issue. It's just you're not confident in the edge guards. You were like super destroying that guy otherwise.
Yeah. So this whole set basically felt like an edge guardless me versus him. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
Like I barely hit any edge guards.
mm-hmm. Yeah, stuff like that, like edge guarding, especially against Marth, where you don't have like a really crazy combo game, is definitely like the most important thing to do well. So even if
Yeah.
you're doing a lot of other stuff right, like
Hmm.
it's not going to make a difference because the edge guards are the way you finish the kill.
Yeah. Especially I feel like at like lower levels of the game, stuff like that carries you super far. Or
I
just.
mean, not even at lower level, like just as a whole, it doesn't matter how good you are. If you can't hit your edge
Mm.
guards, you're gonna lose. Like your edge guarding consistency is. I really liked what Leffen said sort of recently about it, where he said like people think melee is about getting really good at lots of things, or like getting good at lots of things, but it's actually about getting like really really good at like four things. So it's like edge guarding, like being able to take stocks from your opponent is one of the most important things in melee. And so like your consistency rate at edge guarding is massive no matter what level you're at. Yeah, people's recoveries will get better at higher level, but your edge guards need to be good, like need to get better in like parallel to that.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
And yeah, I don't think there's too much to say for the punish here against Marth because like probably heard a lot of people talk about it. Fox doesn't really have a lot of great punishes. You kind of just up throw up air and then you shark, and that's pretty much the whole thing on Marth. There's like a few situations where like if you up throw and he DIs off stage, you can shine, and then there's like a few situations where you maybe get him off stage with a back air and go for like basically you can turn your combo into like an edge guard, and that's
Hmm.
pretty much it. Like there's not going to be a lot to talk about in terms of punishing Marth. We can talk about punish in general also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
also
one.
do
Hmm.
like, do kind of want to talk about sharking and like wake up stuff
Okay.
because I feel
Yeah,
like
if you have any
I'm not very
questions or
conscious on
like
that.
a direction
Yeah.
you want to go, just feel free to just do it. Just let me know.
Okay.
Like at any point, just be like, okay, what about this? Like that's fine. Yeah. So right here, this definitely works. It's just that when you see him double jump to edge right here, so you do this, and as soon as he does this double jump, you can just short hop on reaction and fast fall shine right here, and it'll just kill.
If he fares right there, I could still hit him with a shine, right?
If he what?
If he fares
Um,
to get killed.
well, he would have to hard read your shine. He has to hard read your short hop shine there.
Oh.
He can't just do it on reaction and like oh excuse me, if he just does it as like a read, a lot of times it'll hit your like it'll just hit your light shield and he'll die anyway. So
Mm.
or he'll just miss you and then you can short hop off after the fair and then shine him. So the fair is actually not a great answer there to Fox doing the shine. And so you basically did it here, except because you didn't. Well, let's see. I mean, it's fine. So you did it, but you did it a little bit too early because you're trying to like read his jump.
Yeah.
And you can just do it like later. Like basically, if you know Marth's double jump height, you know like the spot where he's gonna double jump at to sweet spot. And you don't have to hit. Like it takes a little while for him to. So like if you look at this, when he double jumps, there's like a little delay before he grabs edge. So look. It takes a little while. It's like, do it, grab. Just because of, the height of his double jump and how long it takes. So during that window, you actually have quite a bit of time to hit him. You don't have to hit him, like, right at the startup. But I think the edgeguard flowchart video will help a lot.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up for just a second.
Hello.
And, like, yeah, he, like, literally, like, writes it out. Let me see.
Find him, he's dead. He up these to, like, this height. He's dead.
I just want to show. I just want to.
And if he attacks you and you just hold shield, you go to ledge, and then you just drop down, shine him, he's dead. Gonna do, and he up these to like this height. So this is super important, and he's got it.
Come on, Cody. Oh well. I just wanted to
if he's comprehensive,
to see if he gets to the part where he shows the jump off shine, because he. Let's see. Oh, okay, that.
This is mounted there. He can so, like,
no one's gonna do that.
But right there, as you saw, I let you. Right there, he's just dead. Okay, trolling me, please.
Okay, so I guess.
Also, you can do that if you really want to.
Okay, whatever. He's going too deep in it right now. But basically, you do the light shield, and then when Marth double jumps, just short hop off and shine. It's surprisingly automatic. Like, Fox's shine is a lot bigger than you might think there. There have been a lot of situations where I didn't think that it would work, and it just works even against Zane. So, I think after you watch the video and just try it out, like, the thing is like, you don't have to just copy exactly what he has in the video, but basically there's that mix-up of, like, you either light shield and short hop off shine, or you light shield and you full hop, and you'll get around his like up B, and then you can shine or back air or whatever. It's pretty simple. It shouldn't take too much effort for you to learn it. And, like, honestly, after I learned it, it, like, super boosted my edgeguard game against Marth.
Mm.
Okay, so you said you also wanted to talk about, like, sharking or something like that, too?
Yeah, sharking and, like, wake-ups and tech chase stuff. Like, should I... Like, does your brain automatically go into, like, another... I don't know, flowchart when you know you can't follow up on stuff? Like, when it's not Punish Game anymore? Well, I guess it's still part of Punish Game, but, like, say, especially against Spaceys or something, when I, like, I don't know, when I get some type of move that knocks them down and I can't really just reaction grab them or whatever,
right?
They have their wake-up options. Is there, like, an RPS within that?
You kind of just play neutral, but usually, so basically, you put them in, like, a disadvantageous position, because they're either on the ground, or in the air, or in the corner, or something like that. They're not in a position they're happy with. So you can just basically play neutral, but with, like, so, let's say you don't combo somebody, and you're just dash dancing, and you kind of, like, pressure them into the corner. Like, when they're in the corner, it's not like you want to just do some RPS and hope for, like, a result some of the time. You're gonna, like, play neutral. You're trying to, like, bait people. So what you want to do when you're, like, when somebody's coming down from the air, like Marth or something like that, you want to do movement that looks like you're going to... So, like, here's the thing. Sometimes you just jump up and hit him. Sometimes. And then, so let's just say that's one thing, is, like, you might just jump up and hit him. You also might wait 1 second and then jump up and hit him. Or, you might just sort of look like you're gonna hit him the whole time and never hit him. So it's be kind of like, hey, I'm gonna hit you, and then either you do it, and then if he doesn't defend himself, he gets hit, or you're like, hey, I'm gonna hit you, and then you act like you're about to hit him and you don't, and then he might do a move that will like he'll do a fair or something, and now he's committed, and now you can just jump up and hit him. And a lot of times, so when depending on how high somebody is and how what the situation is, you'll have like multiple opportunities to bait someone out of like a sharking situation, where you can be like, hey, I'm gonna attack you, and then they'll be like, I don't believe you, and they won't swing, and they'll just keep falling. And then you go, okay, but this time I really am going to attack you, and they can continue calling your bluff, basically. But if they do that and you attack them, then you hit them. So that's basically like the mix-up that you get. Is that like they don't have many options but to fall, especially like Marth is like sharking him or something. And so your goal is to either hit him or threaten that hit in a way that makes him like defend himself, and then hit him for trying to defend himself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And it's just like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's just like neutral where you're trying to bait stuff. And I mean, like, if he doesn't...
It's like neutral with like a heavy advantage. So I wouldn't necessarily call it neutral. It's closer to like advantage state or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
but it's the idea that like... Oh, sorry, go for it.
Basically, you have everything to force.
Everything what?
Right? Like, you're forcing the interaction, and they just have to react to you, or they just have to make the right play.
Yeah, they have to like read, basically like they have to read you, but you have several chances to just not engage. And so that gives them like a really difficult time, because like basically it's like a 50-50, except you can choose to like not participate, and if they choose the wrong option, they lose. So you have like multiple chances to basically bait them risk-free. So it's like if you choose to go in and try to hit them, you have a little bit of risk of them hitting you. But you can and so that's like the 50-50 of like if you decide to go in and they defend themselves, they'll hit you. Maybe not with something really brutal like you're going to hit them with, but they'll hit you to defend themselves a lot of times, or they'll just get out of the way, like air dodging or something like that. And then, but if you don't do that, you have a chance to just like not engage and like see what they're gonna do. Whereas they don't really have that luxury, because they could just get like, back aired at any moment and then be off stage.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
And then another thing I wanted to ask is, when you get a hit, how far do you what do you think? How far
ahead? Like, am I looking?
Are you like, I know this will happen?
Okay, so it's kind of like, think of it kind of like a type of like wrestling, kind of, where you have certain goals with your combo. And obviously, the end goal of any combo is to take a stock, right? And you have different moves. So the way I describe combos to people is you have moves that start combos. These are like openers. You have like, I'm gonna, get an up tilt, or I'm gonna get an up throw, or something like that, or like a drill shine. You have these moves that start combos really well. Yo, thanks, son, for the tier 2 sub. So you have moves that start combos really well, and then you have things that end stocks. So something that ends a stock would be an up smash, a shine, a back air off stage in a position where they can't recover. Okay? So those would be examples of like finishers. And so your goal is, when you're playing neutral, you're looking for openers. And then, because an opener a lot of times, has potential to convert into a lot of different combos depending on like what you do, right? Like there's a lot of combo options in this game. And so when so your goal is you play neutral and you look for an opener. And when you land the opener, then your goal is how do I convert this opener to a finisher? So that's the idea. It's not that I'm like getting a combo and I'm like, oh, this combo, I have like all these tree branches. It's that like I as soon as I hit a combo, I know what my end goals are for the combo, and I'm going to try to use moves that put you closer to being hit by those finishers.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
that super helps. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
cool. So there's like a lot of situations where you're like, okay, well, I really want to get this person in this position, and so basically, like, if they do this DI that I want, for example, maybe you up tilt like a Marth, and then you, like, let's say you're like, kind of like, let me pause it. You're kind of like here on the stage or something, and it's kind of lowish percent, and you up tilt the Marth right here, and he's just stuck in the air. Maybe he's even without a double jump, and he's stuck in the air right here. So your idea in this position, after you up tilt him, would be something to the effect of like, okay, so I want Marth off stage. Like, I want to just shine him here. He doesn't have a double jump, and he's at pretty low percent. My goal, it'd be great if I could just keep him in the air and then shine him here, and then he wouldn't be able to recover, and I would take his stock. So you pretty much have a goal for the combo. And then...
Yeah.
So you know what you want out of the combo, and Marth also will, if the Marth is good, he'll also know exactly what you want out of your combo, because they know like what they have died to many times before. So then you're like, okay, so how do I get him closer to the edge here where I'm going to shine him? So something really good would probably be like a nair, you know? So you do up tilt nair, and you're trying to move him to this direction. So in a lot of cases, you'll do an up tilt and you'll do a nair, and he'll like kind of DI in, but not too hard, and he'll be like right here, and then you can, you know, maybe get a shine, and then he'll be off here and he'll try to recover it. You can full hop over it and shine or grab ledge. Like, you have a few options there to maybe try to convert this opening into one of the finishers, which will take the stock. And then, so at a high level, what'll happen is you will do this up tilt, and then let's say Marth goes here, and then you go for this nair to try to push him off, and like, let's say he just SDIs really hard to the left, because he, no matter what happens, he is trying to avoid this kill state. So let's say he SDIs super hard to the left, and after you nair him, he's actually to the left of you here. So you're not going to get a shine because he's to the left. Then you go, okay, well now he's to the left of me. I'm not going to be able to get the shine, but maybe, you know, maybe if he does this, now I'll, you know, either nair again or up air. I go, okay, let me change my goal now. He avoided my intention of getting him to a shine state, so let me see if I can get some damage and then maybe hit him off, or get enough damage to up smash him or up air him off the top. Or maybe I'll just do a nair, another nair into an up air over here, and then get a shark. So that's sort of like the battle of melee, is like the defensive game that you have while you're getting comboed. The reason why DI is so useful is that you're trying to put yourself in positions using DI and smash DI to make it harder for your opponent to find their kill moves. And so basically, if your opponent is DIing in a way that will avoid your kill, like, you should always be trying to go for the kill. But when your opponent DIs in a way to avoid your kill, you sort of have fallbacks of like, okay, well, I can go for this instead, and you kind of adjust your goals. And then maybe you're doing this combo to him, you do a nair, you do a back air, and he's still in the air on the left side of the stage, and you're like, you know what, maybe if I did like a weak back air and then like a shine, I can take him off the other side. Or maybe I've built enough damage, maybe I can set up for a weak nair up smash. So that's kind of how it works.
Okay.
Okay, what other questions did you have? I feel like these are probably the more productive ways to go about it than studying this set, if you have more questions.
Yeah. Let's see. I guess, I do think I played neutral pretty okay in this set.
Yeah, it looks like it to me, too.
Yeah, So I guess one thing is, so I was playing the Sheik in a tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and then we dash dance or whatever. The Sheik came up, fared, forward tilted. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna drill over it, and then I hit that, and then the Sheik dash backed after the fair, and it's just like it felt like it didn't feel like they were adapting. It just felt like I don't know. I just it's so hard to for me to play neutral when I don't know. It's just not so cookie cutter. Like, do you think he was playing a mix up, like keeping himself unpredictable, or was it more just like he
So can
was
you go over the situation one more time?
okay? So basically, the Sheik we were dash dancing.
Mm-hmm.
He either fared forward tilted or fared dash back, and I guess my problem was I didn't know how to like compute that in my head because he was just
Hmm.
doing those two options, and they felt like they had no reason. Like, but I still because I still got hit, but it's not like we were playing
Right, he's not like thinking too
RTS.
hard about it.
Yeah, and that was
um.
just really yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the answer is basically twofold here. So in terms of the Sheik matchup in general, you're not gonna really win by whiff punishing Sheik too much. That's not really Sheik in particular is sort of a special matchup for Fox where your goal is to sort of do stuff to Sheik. Like if the Sheik has three things the Sheik is doing to you, you shouldn't really be thinking about it like that. You should be thinking, what am I going to do to Sheik? That is sort of like a different thing. Like you should be the one doing, Nair dash back or something against Sheik, and she has to deal with it, not the other way around. Like you shouldn't be
Uh,
looking too closely at what Sheik is doing in neutral. And like most of the characters, your idea is you're gonna move around and you're trying to bait them out and then hit them. But with Sheik, the goal is more like you're trying to hit them and you're gonna see how they try to defend themselves and then adjust accordingly. So that's one part of the answer. The other part of the answer is a lot of times people will not think very hard about neutral. Like, there are a lot of players that sort of misunderstand or just have no understanding of neutral in general. And they just sort of have some moves that have given them success at some point, and they just sort of use them. And the goal in those situations is to just find a vulnerability in the sort of pattern that they do and then just punish it. Like, oh, excuse me. You don't, like, basically, if somebody is not thinking very hard, you don't need to think very hard either. You just need to be one step ahead of them. So it is a little frustrating to play people who don't really pay attention to the game, like they're not really looking at the screen. It's definitely frustrating to play those people because it's not really very fun, but you can just beat them by, maybe doing something at like a slightly off timing or like hard reading that they're going to do one of their options. Like they're basically if they're not going to play the real game, you don't have to either, and you can kind of like cheat a little bit, like get a little bit like you can play a little bit fast and loose with your rules as long as you're just moving around what they're doing. Like basically if your opponent is just playing static and being really basic, you can just play around that completely. You don't have to say, well, I don't want to just play their game. I need to play, solid neutral, because you don't need to play solid neutral. You can literally just counter what they're doing.
okay.
So that's sort of the two-part answer. Against Sheik, you really want to be a lot more like kind of aggro and like throwing stuff out though.
Yeah, that does make sense because I just feel like I get clipped by so many things that I felt like I should not get clipped by.
Yeah,
But
Sheik is
I
just
feel like
crazy like that. She's just really strong, and if you try to whiff punish her, she'll always kind of just get out or hit you.
And another thing I wanted to ask a question about is
Yep. Let's keep going.
I have no idea about when they come off the respawn platform, like after I take a stock or they take a stock. Like, is that something that has situations? Like, I know you can go to ledge, there's a light shield on platform thing. Sometimes they dash under me. I don't know, like is that an RPS type thing too?
In which matchup? Just in any of the matchups?
Just yeah.
Okay, so it's a little bit complicated, I guess. So basically if you're the defender, like, and so you're like Fox, right? And somebody else comes down from the platform invincibly, you have reasonably consistent ways to maintain like an even position. Like, you can go to ledge and you can ledge stall. There might be some world in which somebody somehow steals the ledge from you, but those are pretty rare. So you can kind of just go to the ledge and ledge stall and then ledge dash off. The light shield on platform thing is also very effective. Against certain characters, you don't even need that, and you can kind of just hang out on the side platform, and they have trouble getting to you in time. So there are mix-ups involved. But basically, you can choose how mix-uppy you want something to be in those cases. Like, you can kind of choose like these really solid, safe options, like the light shield or the ledge option. And in these situations, it's very difficult for your opponent to capitalize on their invincibility. And when their invincibility ends, you simply start playing the game again. So that's kind of option one. Then option two is you play a little bit more risky, and you kind of play closer to them while they're invincible. And then right when your goal is that you want them to like try to read you during their invincibility and try to hit you, and then right as their invincibility ends, you attack them. And a lot of times, a lot of people will still be vulnerable after their 2 seconds of invincibility, because they'll still kind of be in the mindset that they're invincible, despite the fact that it like runs out. So there's like maybe they'll throw out an attack while they're invincible, but like their invincibility runs out before the attack is over, and you have a chance to hit them. So it's sort of a personal choice. Depending on the skill of your opponent and the way your opponent plays, you can adjust those. But basically, like, there's nothing wrong with going for like very safe options into like a ledge dash or light shielding on the platform. There's nothing wrong with going for those, and I would even say that I would probably recommend those more, because it sort of gets you in a better habit of like not dying to your opponent's invincibility. Because like, it's very easy for people to just sort of, I take your stock, then you come back invincibly and grab me, and then you take my stock and I come back invincibly and I combo you, and it just kind of goes back and forth, and it's like very difficult for people in those situations to like get or maintain a lead once they take a stock. So I would say that like generally just play like low risk when you're invincible. Use the ledge, use the platforms, like just do your best to make their invincibility run out, and then continue to play the game. And I think that's probably like the most solid option.
Yeah, I've noticed hacks just always goes to a ledge, and it seems like a good thing. I mean, especially
those were the things that I was going to mention to you right before you mentioned them. So like, because like one gives you invincibility and one puts you in a position where, you know, hitting your shield isn't going to do anything, and grabbing you, like going all the way up to the top platform, landing on the platform, and then grabbing you is such a big commitment, and it's kind of difficult to do, that you might, like, you have such a good chance of just moving out of the way of that those are just generally strong options during somebody's invincibility.
Alright. So I guess I don't really have any more questions, but we still have time, so we can play a 3 out of 5 maybe.
Okay. I'm down to do that. And yeah, any other questions we can go over also. I think I was kind of expecting the punish game explanation to go a little bit longer, but it kind of just worked out really well. So.
Well, yeah, it's kind of. I feel like that's probably why chain grabs are easier, if that makes sense, because there's not a lot to inhibit you from getting that last hit. Like if that makes sense.
Right, like you have basically total control of your opponent during a chain grab. And like it's very easy to adjust your intentions. Like, like you're chain grabbing a Falco on FD. If they DI on stage, you're going, alright, well I guess I'm gonna go for an up tilt into some damage and into an up smash, And then if they are DIing off stage, then you're like, oh, okay, then I can just shine them. And so it sort of like super simplifies punish game in that way. What's your code?
SSPI 317.
SSPI 317. Okay. And do you want me to like mention things if I see something, or we're just playing and we can talk about it after?
Let's play and talk about it after.
Okay.
You wanna do a 3?
Alright. Sounds good to me.
Cool. Make it full screen.
Ooh, nice. No! Oh. Converting. Hello?
Hey.
Yo.
So, I definitely have like a lot of tech flubs too. I also have like a horrible controller.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm getting a new one soon. But so, I mean, just like with you, I can notice like it's so harder. It's so much easier to play the game when you have good options, if that makes sense.
When you have what?
Good options. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like I don't know. Also, so that situation where you up B and I try to edge guard you, um, with back air, you have forward to the ledge, up, and then up, drift left, and drift back, right?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much, yeah.
So, so does falling off back air
Yeah,
make you
so basically you have two options. You can either do like a low back air, like a double jump from ledge, lower back air,
okay?
or you can do a double jump from ledge, high back air, or alternatively like a full hop back air or something like that. And it's just a 50-50. There's no way to cover all those options. And honestly, if you could, it would be pretty boring.
Okay.
So it's just for sure 50-50, and then you just kind of guess whether they're going to go like low or high. And sometimes there's situations that they get into, like depending on the distance, where certain options like won't be very good. And sometimes you can like limit the options better so that like they won't go into like a lot of times like you'll see it and they'll be like, okay, well, going up in this case is like not nearly as good because it'll sometimes lose to whatever. It sort of depends on like the distance, and you can kind of tell where like certain situations maybe it really looks like going to ledge is like a way better option for them or something like that. And so in the like you can basically use those cases to sort of, you know, further your read of like whether they're going to go like low or high. But there's not really a way to cover both.
Okay.
The biggest thing I noticed, so I do like your neutral and like dash dance game. That's pretty good. Definitely not your weakest aspect, and I think better than a lot of people that I deal with. I think the biggest issue is actually kind of what we went over during the lesson. That is what it felt like, where it feels like you can play neutral, you can get an opener, you'll kind of get a combo, but it just kind of feels like you're comboing for like the sake of comboing, and it doesn't have like this direction. And so that's like the biggest difference between your punish game and say like KJH or something, or Cody,
Yeah.
is that when they are punishing, when they're doing their combo, you can feel like that there is a direction to the combo where like if you don't do some form of DI counterplay, that like a kill is coming, you know? And that is like the biggest thing that I noticed is like I'd be like, oh, he got me in neutral, and you'd be like, okay, I'm hitting you a few more times, but it was just kind of that was it. There weren't like kill setups out of your combos, and you weren't directly setting up for like edge guards out of your combos. And I think also your edge guarding is like a little bit weak, and I think that sort of ties into like you not really recognizing like what is a read and where to make them, kind of. So like edge guarding Falco is like a true mix-up. It's pretty much always a true mix-up. You're not really going to end up in a lot of situations where you can just easily react to a Falco edge guard. There are some cases where you can cover like a low back air, and then he'll go up, and then you can like you can do like low back air from ledge, land, and then like full hop bear or short hop bear and still catch him. Those situations will come up sometimes, but not too often. And so it's sort of like basically if you're confident that it is a mix-up and there's not a real option coverage, a lot of times it's easier to know like I know that this is the moment where I have to make a choice, you know? And then because you know this is the moment where you have to make a choice, it's a lot easier to start, you know, you mentioned at the beginning of the lesson sort of information gathering. Like it's a lot easier to gather information when you know the exact spot that the decision happens. So you go, okay, I'm going to read this option, and he does this other option. He like you read option B, and he does option A. well, then the next time you're in that position, you get to see, oh, is he going to do A again? Maybe I should try punishing A this time and see if it works. And so,
Yeah.
knowing that it is a mix-up and where the mix-up is important, and you just need to sort of have a lot of confidence when you go for it. It definitely feels like you kind of have that feeling of like, man, I don't really know what to do. I kind of want to cover everything, but I can't really, and so I hope like this option will kind of hit. But it has to kind of be like, all right, I'm gonna read this option. I think this is the recovery he's gonna do, and that having that confidence of like being able to like direct your edge guards towards killing them and being like, this is the moment where I get to decide what edge guard they're gonna do, or sorry, what recovery they're gonna try to do. That's just really important. And then, like I said, with the combo game, I think you can study. I think studying someone like Leffen's combos is really, really good, because Leffen has very directed combos where, like, a lot of times with Fox, you don't get super long combos. Like, you're not going to get, like, a Marth combo where you combo them to, like, 140 and then you F-smash, you know? Like, Fox isn't really going to get those. A lot of his combos are quick little 3 or 4 hit things. And Leffen is very good at turning a little 2 or 3 hit combo into a direct edge guard where he has maybe like a 50% chance to just kill his opponent. And he's not trying to combo for the sake of it, and he's also not trying to just sort of cover every edge guard option. He'll be like, okay, this combo will put me in a position where I choose either this or this, and if I guess right, I take their stock. And that oftentimes is the best structure for a sort of Fox combo game. And for most characters, to be honest.
Okay, so that super helps. That answers a lot of questions, because I remember I watched the information gathering thing, and then I tried to play it, and I was like, oh, he did a forward air, so he does forward airs. But I guess that's not, like, because it's more dependent on position than I guess I realized. Like,
yeah, like, information gathering, in order to gather information effectively, because there's a lot of information in the game, and it doesn't necessarily translate to, like, a good result. So a lot of times the information, especially like when you're getting started doing information gathering, like the information you should focus on gathering first is like the most discrete, like basic information that you can find. So for example, did he go high or low on his edge guard, you know? Or sorry, his recovery. Did he go high or low on his recovery? Did he, like, was he going for, like, an edge guard kill, or was he going for, like, a damage kill? When I dash towards him, when he's in the corner, does he often attack out of the corner, or does he kind of, like, shield in the corner, you know? So when you get these sort of very specific, like, you want situations where they have the fewest options possible. Because the fewer options there are, the easier it is to differentiate between their options. Whereas, like, if you're in neutral and you're moving around and you're like, all right, this guy just does fares randomly, that's not really going to help, you know? So figuring out why and when they do their thing and then applying that to the information gathering is, like, a lot more of, like, a directed approach.
Okay. Also, one last thing.
Yeah, of course.
I remember... I guess it makes more sense to me now, because I watched this IBDW video about where he talks about how to have a good punish game, and he talks about you kind of reverse engineer your punish game. So that makes total sense now, because you're talking about how you want the finisher. So it's kind of you start from the finisher, and then everything is directed from the starter up to the finisher.
Exactly, yeah. And so that's definitely another way to say sort of the same thing.
So yeah, I'll do that too.
And yeah, I do think, like, you have quite a bit of potential in the way you play neutral and the way you, like, look at situations in general. I think it's really good. I think if you can... And, like, sort of the punish flowchart and the edge, like, getting people into good edge guards and stuff, those are... I'm not going to say they're the easy parts of the game, because, like, they're things that top players are still working on, like, every day, you know? But
Yeah.
getting those, like, basically the level your dash dance game and stuff like that is at, getting your edge guards and punish to that level is like overwhelmingly easy with a bit of focused effort. So, like, those are your weakest aspects right now, but sort of getting them to catch up to where the other parts of your game are, it's one of the easier parts of the game to do that with. And so that's good, because it means you sort of did the harder parts first at your current level, and so you can sort of just sort of close up these little holes in the edge guarding and the punish, and like you'll start doing probably a lot better. I do think that you'll probably be doing a lot better than you think you will. Like, this stuff is a pretty big deal, and like the stuff you're doing is good, but it doesn't. It's kind of, you know, like if a car engine 90% works, the car is not going to run, you know? Yeah. Like, if the engine is 90% working, but if it doesn't actually turn the wheels correctly, you're not going to be able to go anywhere. So, if you basically just get these couple little things in order, then I think the other strengths in your play that you have will come out a lot more, and I think it'll be a much better time for you.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll work on all that stuff, definitely.
Great. Any additional questions? And if you have anything that comes up, there's like a clip or something you have any questions about that, yeah, feel free to message me on Discord and I can answer you about it.
Okay, so I guess one more mentality question is, how should I think in tournament versus how should I play in friendlies? Because I notice in tournament a lot of times I'm trying to learn like the game while I'm in tournament.
Yeah. That's bad.
It's really frustrating.
The way I like to describe it is that like tournaments are kind of like a talent show. And so no one goes to a talent show to practice their act. Like, no one is doing like a juggling act at a talent show, and in the middle of it they're like, I wonder if I can juggle 7 this time, you know? And it seems so ridiculous in that sense, but people will, you know, do that in Melee all the time, where they're like, I'll kind of figure it out as I go along. And that's not what you want. And it's like, when you do that, a lot of times you will end up with inconsistent results, because sometimes things will just kind of accidentally click, and sometimes they just don't, and you lose. So that is very much not recommended. What you should be doing is, during your practice and thinking about the game and all this kind of thing, you should be making plans of how you're going to interact with characters. You know, I like getting these kills in this way. I'm going to be playing like this, using the platforms, or like this to get center stage. You make, or this at this percent, you know, you make these plans, and then tournament, all that tournament should be is the execution of the plan. The only thing you should be thinking about at all in the tournament is doing the things you practiced as well as you can. That's it.
Okay.
Because what you do is then, if you practice, I tell people this all the time. If you do your plan perfectly in tournament, which should be your goal, then when you watch the set later and you analyze your play, the only thing you need to do is improve your plan, which is very straightforward. You say, oh, I thought that this combo or this situation was good for me, but it turns out it's not, because they can do X or whatever. And so I need to adjust by changing this option to this option instead, or these options instead. And that sort of development is like a much better way to get better at the game than the way that a lot of people usually do it, where they don't really have a plan and they just show up and they just try to sort of fight it out, and they don't really pay attention to what they're doing, and then they watch their video and they go, oh, I lost because I played bad. And it's like, it's very, very easy to do that, and it feels good. It doesn't have a lot of like mental weight to it, but it's not going to really help you improve. What helps you improve is doing the things you think and then proving yourself wrong by losing. And if you if you win the match and you did the things you were doing, then you go, okay, well, this plan is good enough then for what I'm doing. And maybe there's still ways to improve it, but at least for this level and this person and stuff like that, this plan is good. And
Yeah,
that's
so
sort of a lot more how you should be thinking about it.
So you kind of have to build your mental image of what good looks like, right? And then
exactly.
tournament is where you execute that.
And like before a set, what I like to do is visualize winning the set. Like visualize like, oh, I'm going to hit him with this, and I'm going to hit him with this, and then he'll counterpick me here, but then I'll start out like this, and just sort of imagine how all these stocks are going to go. It's like not like, don't imagine it one stock at a time. Just kind of imagine it like a dream where you're kind of going through and you're like, oh, and then like these will kind of hit and these will hit until you feel confident. And then when the match starts, you're trying to make those sort of, predictions of the match come true. Whereas like if you're about to play somebody and you imagine it and you're like, okay, and then, oh, they're going to combo me and oh, I'm going to die from this. And then like, oh, and I try to combo them, but they just get out. Like, that'll actually happen if you don't have a good model for a matchup. When you imagine it, it'll just be you losing. And those are matches you can sometimes win, but it's not very likely. You don't really want to go in thinking like that.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Okay, so we're about at an hour. I will send you my payment info. I enjoyed talking with you, and hit me up if you have any additional questions or concerns or clips or anything like that. And
Cool.
Anyway, have a good one.
Yeah, have a good one.